Hello, everybody. Hi, my name is Rajiv. My pronouns are he, him. Whether you identify as in recovery, sober curious, or just wanted to be sober while you're listening in, we're happy that you're here. And with that, let's get started. Alrighty, what a year, what a year, what a year. It has been quite a time for everyone. And I'm sure as we're closing out 2021, we would like to take a look back. And it is a time for reflection. Even though we have snow in our video podcast, for those who can't see, it is not snowing here in Chicago, where both of us live, and it won't snow for the rest of the year. So, in a lot of ways, this is an aspirational episode as well, as to what we hoped would have happened in 2021 and what we hope will happen next year. Right. I am having audio problems. Please hold. Well, that's fun. This normally doesn't happen. Check, check, check. Try speaking again, Carly. Nope. Oh, man. I think so. But I might be just repeating myself in your microphone. Oh, that's fun. Okay. Check, check, check. Try again. Oh, man. Oh, this is awesome. Super fun. Killing it. Right. Especially ones that don't do it very often.
Like starting from scratch every time now.
It is.
Excuse us as we figure out what we're doing with our lives.
I feel like that's emblematic of what this year is looking like.
Yeah, this is not a dramatization. This is real life. This is 2021 in action. It's kind of just felt like when Mercury was in retrograde and then it like went out of retrograde, but like things were like still worse and it just like felt like, oh, Mercury doesn't even matter if it's in retrograde or not. Everything's
I
insanity.
I fixed it. Everything's good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Hooray. Okay, I have no idea what you said. So,
Oh, my whole rant.
yes.
Okay, Cliff Notes version was that normally during this time of the year, no pandemic is difficult being a sober and a queer person.
Yep.
This year two of a pandemic, holiday season two, Electric Boogaloo. This is not fun for us. You know, this is difficult. We see you, we hear you. Being a queer person, being a sober person right now is not easy. So that's why we're here, to illuminate that we see you, we hear you. Struggle is real. And the fact that you're here listening is amazing. We love you.
Absolutely. Thank you all very much for listening in, whether that's after the fact or right now. 2021 has been the best of times and the worst of times, as I'm sure you may have already said.
No, I didn't. Okay, mostly it was the worst of times.
Oh, no.
I know. It has.
Yes, it has been truly a wild ride. I agree. It's been like one of those web comics where it's like something happens, and the last thing is just like, oh no. So basically, that's what this entire year has been.
Or like,
Something happened.
dude.
Something happened, and it's now the oh no part. I think we were just thinking about like what this year even looked like for the both of us. I moved, you moved,
Also,
so right, all in the middle of a pandemic. We both got the vaccine this year. I don't know, like what else happened?
so much. Right. I know we started this year earlier, January. There was, no vaccine
Mhm.
like officially like out in the world. Obviously, it was worked on. And now we've been vaccinated 3 times, or at least you would hope. At least we both have. I know we have.
Yes.
Which is wild. Um, that was a huge change. What else has happened? Oh, there was like that moment in time briefly over the summer where things were really hopeful and we thought we could just like discard our masks in the streets together in time, where it felt like the world was healing and we could do things again. And it was almost normal until it.
Until it wasn't, because things took a plunge as soon as the temperatures plunged.
It wasn't part really just like escalated just overnight. It seems
Really quickly.
like woke up one morning and was like, oh no, we all have COVID again.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. It's like something happened, we felt better about it, and then now it's the oh no. I think even what you were starting with is true. Like it is quite literally the same conversations that we have been having since last year. I think we were looking at what winter 2020 looked like, and boy, does it feel very, very familiar.
Like
Um,
too familiar.
we are still figuring out if people are getting vaccinated. We are still figuring out if people can meet in person. We are still worried about COVID. We are still worried about like mental health and things like that going into winter. Boy, well, welcome back. We are at the end of 2021 and we're having the same exact conversations.
Yeah.
But this year it's different. It's different because we're not going to be talking about that stuff anymore.
It's the same, but totally different and new. um, yeah, it does. It feels like some kind of hellscape deja vu situation of like really just wishing that one morning I'm just going to wake up and it's going to be March of 2020 and the simulation will have ended. And we can get another chance to do things differently this time. But no. Yeah, we're here. We don't want to have the same conversations again. If you need to hear last year's winter podcast, I think they would be very applicable to this year's winter season. We wanted to help ourselves and you all differentiate what the heck happened in 2021. A whole year has gone by, even though you might mentally be stuck in 2020, because technically you can't process a trauma until it is completed. And let me tell you, we are in the midst of the trauma and the drama.
We are. We are here. We're queer. We're sober. Still.
We're
We
hanging
made
on. I feel like this video podcast is just like our descent into madness.
documented 2021 colorized.
Oh man. So yeah, we want to reflect on some milestones that happened for us in the past year. Reflect, a little bit on what we talked about last month's episode about gratitude. but wanted to leave things a little bit more lighthearted because things I think are feeling really heavy right now, whether it's the holidays, whether it's New Year's, whether it's COVID, whether it's everything, just, the weight of the world. We want to try to make sense of what has occurred in the past 365 days while potentially trying to move forward while not being held back. So we're here. Here we go. Let's just try it and see what we come up with.
All right, let's look backwards. I don't remember any of 2021. Sorry.
I know. Well, we were just talking like if we had to make a 2021 time capsule and place things and memories in that capsule, what would go in it? Really hard to say.
I mean, we were trying to look through our photos from the last year because if it weren't for those photos, we didn't exist.
2021 didn't exist.
No, I mean, like there was lots of things that happened, and obviously it's been a full year, just like any other year. But for some reason, it's just it's not sticking. It's not the same.
No, and I think it's very validating to just like say that it's okay if your brain feels like mush. And it's okay if you can't remember anything about this past year. And it's okay if you didn't dress in matching pajamas and post that on Instagram and pretend like everything's fine this holiday season. Like it is okay. That's not real life. As somebody's
Absolutely.
highlight curated reel trying to make sense of this year too. Yeah.
Craziness.
Try and do a grab bag. 2021 grab bag. So
Slash superlatives.
superlatives. All right. Well, I love it. Let's talk about it. So yeah, looking back on our photos, I scrolled back to the beginning of this year, which happened in January of 2020. Feels literally like it could have been 5 years ago, like at least in my mind.
Or March 2020 part, I don't know, 24.
I love it and hate it. Yeah, so I was reminiscing to you earlier how in January of 2021, I took a luxurious COVID vacation to an amazing place. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called Springfield.
Springfield, and there's like 15 states that have a Springfield. So
That's true. That was long ago. So very fun, as fun can be. We had the whole Lincoln Museum to ourselves because it was the first day that it reopened after COVID, post COVID opening. Oh wow, just ignorance was such bliss back then. I know you've taken some cool trips in 20.
one of those was for work because it was during that one brief period where people were like, "All right, yeah, things are okay," and it was the same thing for my other trips. So both of my trips were in that window of like ignorance and bliss, instead of just we may have a vaccine, we have one. Oh, the vaccine is working. Oh, okay, great, things are great. Just before the oh no part. So I had the great pleasure of flying over to Utah to go in the middle of nowhere to go to like Canyonlands and to Arches National Park. There were not that many people there, which is great, and that's exactly what we were trying to do. It was myself and a few friends of mine, and we just hiked. We were out there, we saw the stars, we were just like communing with nature, trying not to get COVID, and it was great, and we all were fine. The second trip that I had was going to New York City, which happened pretty much just before everything just decided to go insane. So I kind of am thankful that I left when we did. But that was partially for work because I needed to go there and our offices are there. But then stayed the weekend for my sister's birthday.
Nice. Very fun. Very fun.
I mean, did you go anywhere else besides Springfield, insert state here?
Oh yes, before like the vaccine and stuff like that, and more when majority of people were vaccinated, it's difficult to go anywhere. And I was like, okay, I'm fine. Like we can her down in Chicago. I really
Mm.
definitely appreciated my apartment a lot more, which I know a lot of people were feeling that way of like, doing a lot of home decor projects or whatever. Just feeling like and we never really spent a lot of time inside. I really like my apartment and stuff like that. But at the same time, I was like, okay, well, like, what are like mini like road trips that you could take that could be like safe slash fun? And from Chicago, there's only so much in like a 4 6 hour radius. Not saying
You don't say.
there's nothing, but sometimes it's like a little easier to just be like, I'll just do a staycation as opposed to even like. But we did take a quick drive up to Lake Geneva in March for my friend's birthday. That was fun. It was a good time. I would recommend going back up there again over Springfield for sure. I did get to take one trip where I flew earlier this year in September, went to Las Vegas. It was my first time going to Vegas since I've gone sober. And it was interesting. Definitely not a destination that any other sober people need to visit, but for me, it has a very special place near and dear to my heart. It was very fun people watching, very fun for me to have memories brought back up. See the old hotel that I worked at, which is completely like gutted and completely different. So that was a wild experience. Saw some shows, just had an overall really nice time. It was very crowded. It was definitely, didn't really feel like on a COVID ness there. That was it. That was really my only getaway. And that was to celebrate with my cousin for her 21st birthday because she's basically my sister.
Hmm. Well, that's nice that you're able to kind of get back there, and also nice that you're able to go back to Las Vegas this time sober and kind of like see it for what it is and what you wanted it to be.
Yeah, and honestly, it's pretty easy not to drink there just because drinks are like
Yeah.
literally $40. Crazy. So I think I saved a lot of money in comparison to my cousins that were there. So
Makes a lot of sense. Well, what is the best thing that you ate? What is the best thing that you did? Because I want to hit hard on the superlatives.
no, we gotta hit it. We gotta hit it hard. The best. That's a really good question. There is this really cool pop-up thing that I used to do pre-pandemic, and it used to be at this guy's house in his condo. He would transform his condo into like a kind of like an underground Chicago like food dining party thing that you kind of
That's cool.
about. So that
Yeah.
was in the times. And so he has kind of shifted his business model into pop-up brunches and things like that. So he has had all of those and I've gone and it is some of the best food I've very long time because it's kind of just like it's someone that's super talented from the hospitality world that just branches off and you're not confined by the rules of kitchens and owners and all this stuff customers. You get to just do whatever you want. So I think that's also a bonus of 2021 is that a lot of people are realizing like I don't need a corporation. I can go
Mm.
off and just like let my creativity flow, let my business model flow on its own. There's tons of new spaces, unfortunately, from like the places that went out of business and things like that. So I think it's like sad, but it's also cool that there like will eventually be a turnover of like what even exists. That's cool.
Shout out to Mercy and to Phoebe for their entrepreneuring episodes that we had with them earlier. Was it this year? Last year? I don't even know anymore.
Unsure. I think it was this year. And so I'll shout him out. So his name is Salt Spoon, or his business's name, and you can follow them on Instagram. Very cool.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. What's some best stuff over by you?
I think what we did in New York was truly some of the best stuff that I'd done this year. Partially because it was like the first proper trip that I had taken this year in the past like 2 years basically. Um, we went to some fantastic places to eat because it's New York, and of course. And actually, something that I really appreciated was in a lot of the places that I went to, a lot of them were still like sober friendly in the sense that they have more interesting drinks than a lot of other places that I've been to, non-alcoholic, of course. Um, in the sense that they're experimenting with using different ingredients. They're experimenting with some of the sober alternative drinks or things like that. That's really popping up on all over the place right now. But some of the places that I really liked that we went to in New York were um, Spicy Moon Sichuan in the Village in New York City. Fantastic, like Sichuan cuisine, so Chinese cuisine, spicy stuff. It has that in Chinese it's called mala, which is the numbing spice. So if you like that flavor, if you like that kind of like spiciness, really good stuff. Actually, a really interesting place that I went to was called Dirt Candy. They're a vegetable forward place. In other words, they made everything out of vegetables and that's it. In the sense
Wow.
that we had a course that was like um, sunchoke, artichoke, like some potatoes with like a lemon reduction and some stuff like that, which is fantastic. And then we had Brussels sprout ice cream, which was interesting.
Never heard of such a thing.
No, I know, me neither. So like stuff like that was just like, oh right, yeah, people are still being creative, or there's things out there in the world that are still happening. So honestly, some of the better food that I had this entire year, because otherwise it was me at home, or like me in my standby restaurants that I like order from.
Right. I mean, that was another PSA I wanted to give out today is like continue to support local. Like keep these places alive. Like the same messaging that we've been, having, but it's kind of like that mentality of like if you assume other people are going to do it, like drop the ball.
Totally. Well, um, keeping on the superlative theme, what do you think was the best thing that made you forget that there was a pandemic? Was it just your travel, or was there something else?
No, travel was good, and I appreciate what you're saying too. Like we did not eat a bad thing when we were in Las Vegas. Like Las Vegas
Nice.
is also a very great food town. I mean, Chicago's fantastic
Chicago is as well. It's like
here. I always say like you could literally eat out every night in Chicago at a good restaurant and for like 2 years straight, and you'd still not even hit every place.
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I ate out for the first time this year, like actually in a restaurant since last year, which is also like interesting. So
milestone.
it's a milestone. You know, I left my house. It was such an achievement.
Went outside. Achievement locked. Best thing that made me forget about the pandemic. Oof. I did a lot of bike riding over the summer, which I mean I usually do, but I always go just straight to the lake. And there's just something about being by the lake and listening to music and just like forgetting that the rest of the just it's good. You kind of get away from the like hustle and bustle of it all and relax. And I throw out my hammock and hang out and fall asleep and just straight chill.
Great vibing. I get that because once you're vibing, it doesn't matter what's going on outside.
It's so true. Right? You gotta get your head right and then
I mean, speaking about vibing, was there specific music or things like that that you found this year, or that you really were just vibing out to?
such good music. I'm like trying to remember what I would ride to over the summer, but I it's like so hard to do like this year end roundup because I feel like the only
Mm,
thing that's most in my recent memory is like things that have happened in the last like month.
sure,
It's like as far as my memory goes.
sure.
But we did get some really good music this year. I know we just got Adele's album, which I was like super stoked about.
It was sad. It was like I think encapsulated 2021, which is weird because it was probably created in like 2019 and then took like a year to just edit it and stuff like that. But it's
Yeah, she's
still
like I think 3 years ago because she's 33 now, and it was like named after the time when she made it.
she's
But
33. Dang.
I am thinking about I'm already planning my 30th birthday because planning my birthday is like the only thing that keeps me sane, like having things in the future to look forward to.
Sure.
And I really want to have a karaoke party. And I'm thinking of like, so I'm turning 30, obviously. So the 30 album of Adele is like going to be on the karaoke menu. The 30 song from Bo Burnham special will be on the menu. And then there's that new song from Tick Tick Boom that just came out, that movie on Netflix that's 3090, where he's turning 30, 1990. So close. But yeah, 3022 doesn't exactly have the same.
No, not exactly.
30 themed for like What's My Age Again by like Blink. It'll be like all like age birthday appropriate. Very excited.
That's fantastic. I mean, I feel like this is kind of the time frame in which a lot of millennials are turning 30. And so it's just like that, mindset shift or that skill shift, I guess. Because like you can get away with a lot of stuff when you're in your 20s. And I say this as somebody who is above 30. So like uh but once you hit that like 30 time frame, I feel like there's a bit of a shift that just suddenly happens in
Yeah.
terms of like you just need to be that much better in whatever way, shape, or form. Whether that be like with your own mental health, your own like relationships, your own abilities at work or something like that. You just feel like you're getting it. You're just better. And so that's where I feel like it's just a nice time of transition for a lot of people. Unfortunate that it has to happen in a pandemic,
Yeah,
but
really not great. I mean, the millennials have really had quite a plight. We had the
Gen Z too, millennials as well.
those millennials, they're gonna have very poor social skills. I'll tell you that much. Like, I'm awkward. Like going back into the world like temporarily when we were for a minute, like socializing. So I'm so awkward. Like I forgot how to be a person in the world. And it's like there's kids that are growing up that like are not learning critical skills, and it's gonna be crazy. I mean, it's so like mind blowing to think about how just altered the repercussions that we don't even know about that will come from this.
Absolutely. Uh, Going back to the music thing, I think one of the best things that came out for me was Silk Sonic's album, A Night with Silk Sonic, with Anderson
Yes,
.Paak and Bruno Mars.
the
Uh,
mashup we never knew we needed.
no, also a very good mashup and something that I think pop music really needed because it has more than four chords and like it's interesting writing. And it's like super super tight, neat, clean, like mixing, mastering, playing back everything. Just
Well, they're both just like very superior at what they do.
absolutely like Bruno Mars' range is ridiculous. I'm very jealous of the fact that Anderson .Paak can both play drums and sing perfectly at the same time.
Yep,
If you haven't seen his Tiny Desk, like absolutely go watch that.
definitely do that. What else was there? There was the Elton John like
Oh, that's
lockdown
right.
sessions where
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
collaborated with a bunch of new artists. So those songs that came out of that were pretty dope. Really great collaborations. Taylor Swift rewrite of her I mean, that's badass, right? I think women are just taking over and just kicking ass and taking names. Like
Brittany,
we freed Britney, freed her. Like that was a real thing. I
I
can't
will
wait.
take zero credit for it, but I was supportive.
You're an ally. I can't wait for Britney's tell all where she just lets all the steaming hot tea out into
That hot goss.
that hot goss.
What about movies or shows or other like visual media? You feel like you saw what was the best stuff that you saw this year?
That is a good question. I still have not gone to the movie theater, which is tragic because I used to go very often pre-pandemic and see new stuff that came out. Um, I just watched Die Hard yesterday for Christmas.
A
Classic. I feel like
traditional Christmas season.
going back and like really watching like some classics, some things
Mm.
that I haven't seen, just doing some like film education just because
Hmm.
like, there was some cool stuff that came out this year, but I mean it's like not even in comparison to what the box office like used to look like just that. So
I mean, that's fair. I was even digging back as far as like the 1930s and 40s.
yeah.
Actually, very entertaining film. Bringing Up Baby is about like leopards and just a whole comedy of errors that just kind of keeps escalating and escalating and escalating. That's like very well written, especially for like the time. Um, just like a fun, casual movie to just relax with.
I love it. There's like this movie app that you can get that I need to get so I can keep track of all my movies, watchings, and you can like rate them and, remember when you watch them like
Hmm.
that. I feel like I do watch a good amount of.
By the way, anybody who is watching this live, if you have your favorites of anything that we've been talking about, feel free to just toss them in chat.
Please. We were talking about best shows that came out this year. I know everybody was obsessed with Squid Game.
Did you watch it?
I did.
Okay. Did
It
you
took
like it?
it took me a while. I like couldn't get through the first episode. I would like put it on while I was like eating, and I was like, I'm not really feeling. It's not really good to eat during it. But the most disturbing part of Squid Game was like how obsessed our society was with it.
Hmm.
That was concerning.
I think it kind of hit a lot of what people have been feeling as of late, ignoring the pandemic, but just looking at it societally as well, in terms of just where are people at with regards to their relationship with money? Like, how would people even do something? Like, what do the people who have that much money actually do? And what could they do with just pure money? And it sounds like, or at least based on the way that Squid Game played out, like there's a lot of stuff that people are probably thinking about that, it probably just kind of grabbed people's attention the right way. I thought, I mean, to me, it felt like a very K-poppy, not K-pop, but like Korean drama, like that kind of thing at some point. And I was like, interesting premise. Okay, now it's a Korean K-drama.
Yes. It's fascinating. And like the memes that came out of it, like
Mhm.
so so good.
No, yeah.
ASMR videos that I was watching that were like people tapping like on like those cookies, like just people super into it. They just loved it.
Looking at right.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know how far I would have gotten in the real Squid Game. There is a very funny YouTube video where this guy like reenacted the whole thing, right? And got like strangers to do it. But it was like instead of dying, obviously, you like have this little like thing on your chest that like
Oh yeah, that was Mr. Beast,
they're beasts, yes.
very famous YouTuber.
Very famous YouTuber. I just call him that guy. You know, that guy that did that
That
thing.
guy, yeah,
Yeah. We watched that on Thanksgiving with my cousin. So that was pretty cool.
that was pretty cool. I had the distinct opportunity and pleasure to go see a live show, like not a TV show, but a Broadway show. When I was in New York, that was probably the one thing that I found was fantastic. It's coming, it's traveling, so wherever you are right now, it may have passed through your city, whatever. But take a look. The show is called Hadestown. If you haven't heard it, you can listen to the album if you want. Go watch it. It's about the story of Orpheus and Eurydice. So it's a sad song, or sorry, sad whole like story, but it's really well done. And I thought that that was a fantastic piece of media that I actually watched.
Love it. Best show. So Brian and I, friend of the QSS community, I think episode 3, you can catch his story on. We went to see Chelsea Handler live at
Ah,
the
nice.
theater a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very funny. She's hilarious. And like it felt like we were her target audience, just being like queer and child free. And like she was definitely a huge ally and was talking about the queer community. It was really funny. I think.
All in that one time period where we thought we could do things live again.
It like wasn't even that long ago, which is insane.
Nope. Nope.
That means like maybe we'll get back there one day.
Maybe it's only a summer thing where now you can only do things outdoors or like at theaters when it's summer, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, summer will be here again soon. We've already surpassed the equinox, the
We have.
solstice. Yes, so the days are getting longer, even though it was a little depressing yesterday. It's like still pitch black at 5 p.m. It feels like midnight. Won't be like that for much longer. I know, as it's pitch black.
Right at 5 p.m.
Oh yeah, I mean, we it really kind of feels like so I was reminiscing about things that I did like in the very very early pandemic to
Mm,
amuse myself, like movies I watched that like made me happy, activities I was doing, like puzzles and whatever I was up to, like literally it's been so long since then. It's almost been 2 years that like it's been enough time that like you can definitely revisit those things. Like go back to the
absolutely.
things that make you happy. Like we need them. Like employ employ those things. Like watch the good movies, do the fun random like indoor activities, make your sourdough bread, create something, do whatever is like gonna like make you happy and not think about this. Like don't think that you need to like move beyond what was working 2 years ago, revisit it. It's here to stay. Keep yourself sane in whatever ways you can.
Absolutely. Well, to close out the superlative section, what was the best decision that you think you made this year?
Ooh, that's hard. I did start a new job. I think my best decision is just like to continue trusting that everything is working out as exactly as it's supposed to. I mean, I guess
Mm.
pandemic included, like pandemic not included, supervision included. Yeah. I mean, it's always scary when you make big life choices like moving or
hmm
starting a new job or
hmm
starting a relationship. It's like, is this the right thing? Is this the right time? Like, but like it is, just trusting that it is and like leaning into it more instead of fighting it or thinking like, what if things were different? So I think just like keeping this attitude, not getting sucked in too much to the negativity, not getting sucked in too much to the news, like anything that directly makes you feel like crap, like you have control over not doing that or engaging with that. So I think that has made this salvageable and just like interjecting nice, like fun, joyous, even in the really hard times. Yeah. What about you, Rajiv?
I I have a similar feeling in the sense that I think that this year the best decision that I made was to not just wait for the pandemic to be over. Um, in many senses, like figure out what is a safe way to do the same sort of thing. So kind of like time what you were saying as well, in the sense that there are a lot of things out there that you can continue to do in a safe fashion, or you may need to modify it or change the timing of it or who you're with or whatever. But I think that there is a way for you to actually continue moving forward. So like making a decision to move for me was like something that I was like just wanting to put on hold because of the pandemic, but I ended up just like going forward with it. And I honestly think that that was one of the best decisions that I made this year. It was because it's like you now have space, you have outdoor space, like you have a new area, like a new neighborhood, new people, like everything is relatively new, which adds some much needed variety in like a very monotonous life that we've tended to fall into.
Yeah. It's definitely hard to or it's easy to convince yourself to like wait till the pandemic's
Mm-hmm.
over and it's like it's hard to understand that like life goes on to some degree. I feel like I got very like upset about that, like especially last year, like in the thick of it, like everyone's like, oh well, life just got to go on, like the show must go on, and it's like does it though? Like do we need to have like all this stuff happening, like sports and shows and like endangering people? And it's like, okay, like maybe not that stuff necessarily, but like your life, like what
mm-hmm.
you are doing you to go on. So whether that I heard a lot of people being like, I'm gonna wait to stop drinking when the pandemic's over. And it's like, why wait? Like just try it now. Just try these things now and see what happens. Or like explore your queer identity, try different things on, research different stuff, put yourself out there, meet the communities that are there. Like it's out there. The internet connects us all and there's so much great stuff going on online. Like there's no reason, like if you're thinking about something or your attention is drawn to something, just follow it, see what happens. Don't put it on hold. Don't procrastinate. Don't just be like, I'll do it when this is over. It's like, no, like just at least try. There's definitely a way to, even an adapted way, like you're saying, like to try new things or things that you want to pursue now.
Absolutely. Well, how are you feeling about things now? Because if we're thinking about what we've done this past entire year, there's still 5 more days left in 2021.
There definitely are. And typically, I will just say, like, this is a really normally difficult time of the year, right? Like, the days after Christmas and the days between Christmas and New Year's are like this weird limbo of like, we have work to do, maybe we don't, maybe we're not on a schedule, we feel like we're on a break. Like, there is like this, like, disruption to your schedule. There's this disruption to your like eating patterns because everyone's just eating whatever and like indulging a lot. We feel like maybe we're like not on our regular scheduled routine, and it can feel very easy to like want to rebel these next days before the year's over and be like, I'll just start fresh next year. So yeah, just keeping it together, reaching out to friends, and kind of revisiting those like comfort shows and food things that are going to make you happy, like that are going to keep you on track. So like anything that's going to help. Um, yeah, I mean, for me, just staying in the present moment, not really thinking about, you know, the craziness that we've endured for so long, not really thinking about what the future is going to hold. Like, if I could just stay here and now and like, what do I need in this moment to make myself feel okay? Like, helps a lot with the anxiety and the like panic. Because, yeah, when you are so stressed about the state of the world or have so much anxiety about something, like we can only be stressed and anxious for like a certain amount of time
Mm.
before it just like compounds, and then we get into this thing called like auto stress and like auto anxiety, where it's just like we've been so stressed and so anxious about this stuff for so long that it's like just a like perpetual state of it. So that's why I can feel like very like dissociative between what's going on right now. And like I feel like I probably said this last year too. Like, I feel like I oscillate between caring so much about COVID and like safety and the pandemic to like all of a sudden you cared so much that you like flip completely to the opposite direction to like, I can't care about this anymore.
Mm.
Like, I'm done. Like, I can't think about this. I'm just going to keep going. And, you know, I can't care. Like, if it happens, it happens. Like, whatever is meant to be will be. And it's like, okay, like, if I got to find any way to like kind of like walk between the two options and like kind of like stay middle ground and stay calm, stay centered, so I don't kind of hit either one of those. Like,
I totally hear you. I mean, there's some things that I like, even a phrase that I was just trying, like I heard that I was just trying to like bring into my own practices. You got to keep focusing on yourself. And one of the ways you can do that is doing, like, if you're in therapy of some sort, like coaching, whatever, like that's great. Um, there's even the concept that I think I'm trying to bring into that now is this idea of therapy, AIR therapy, in the sense that just go outside, get a breath of fresh air, walk outside for a minute, just kind of reconnect with the fact that there is a whole world out there, ignoring all the stuff that's happening on your screen, like in your head, like in your home itself. Like, there, just step outside for a second, get some air, and I think that that also will help you just stay in the present moment instead of just thinking about what's coming next.
I love the ARP. I love it. Yeah, I always notice how much better my mental health feels, even if you just go outside for a quick second.
Well, okay. So I think we can probably start closing things out. So what are you looking forward to in 2022? Positive things only.
Positive vibes only. No,
Right.
everything positive except for your COVID tests.
May your COVID test be negative and your emotional state be positive.
And your vibes be positive.
Right.
I love it. I love the dark humor that has been born from this event.
Absolutely.
What am I looking forward to? Yeah, we pretty much just copy and pasted our list from 2020. Coincidence that 2022 sounds like 2022, like 2020 again. Get ready for that. What am I ready for? I am ready for student loans to be forgiven. I saw a meme that was like, if you can keep affording to push them back and push them back, you can afford to forgive them. So I'm all about that. Team forgive the student loans. I'm all about team booster number 4. Got that vaccine card after my first shot and it had so many spaces underneath. I was like, that's weird. And now I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
They knew. They had a good sense.
Tag they knew. What are you looking for?
I'm definitely looking forward to continuing to leave my house. Last time it was because I hadn't left it at all. This time it's because I've tasted the taste of freedom and I can never let go.
Yeah, I saw another meme. It was like, can't wait. My resolutions for 2022 are to get hot and stay alive. So really just gonna emulate that. I'm really gonna work on getting hot. I'm really gonna work on staying alive. Like, that's just it. That's the two things we gotta focus on.
I think that's a great goal to have and what you should look forward to for next year. And getting hot doesn't necessarily mean just physically. You can get hot just by like changing stuff up here in your head.
Percent. And you can get hot by like going for a jog. Actually, like creating heat in your body.
standing next to an open flame.
To a sauna.
Yeah, all that stuff, whatever encompasses getting hot. Yes, that is what I'm looking forward to next year too.
I can't wait to maybe see people again in person, maybe in the summer months. Hug other people, you know. I mean, if we're probably never gonna go back to shaking hands. I don't know what's gonna happen. We're like,
Nah, man, you gotta do what they do in India and just like, bow a little bit
to
and
each
just
other.
fold your hands. Like,
I know, everyone stay to yourself, stay in your bubble.
absolutely.
I can't wait for live music. I like miss music so much. I miss the movie theater. I miss places that are normal. I miss like activities. I miss having things that you can like buy tickets to and like look forward to it, like, and not being afraid that it's going to be canceled or that something's going to happen. It's like so just wishy washy, and like, because the planning of things in the future, like, that really keeps me having something to look forward to, keeps me positive. But the fact that like even when you do plan things, it's like, oh, maybe it'll happen, maybe not. It's uncertain, so scary.
Awesome. Well, I think this is probably where we need to uh, wrap up today's episode. And so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one as it comes out. Whenever that happens, my bad. You can find all of our podcasts on all major platforms and the video podcast, which has exclusive content, on twitch.tv and on YouTube.
Yes, I think that us being behind on the podcast coming out is the most quintessential 2021 of all. And we would not be where we are today without any of you, without this group. It's so near and dear to both of our hearts. And we love doing this. We love lifting your stories. We love having this community. And if you're not already part of it, please join us on Discord. Please follow us on Instagram at Queer Sober Social. You can always email us, reach out to us at queersobersocial@gmail.com. We have an Anchor page where you can leave us a voice message that we would love to play on our podcast. Just so grateful for you all this holiday season and can't wait to see you in 2022. Thank you so much for listening to the Queer Sober Social podcast. And always remember,
You are queer enough.
you are sober enough.
You are enough. Thank you, everybody. Well, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we're actually going to do a abbreviated version of an after show this time around. I think it's the end of the year. It was just Christmas. Like, y'all can get off Twitch for a second or YouTube for a second.
Back into your life.
Right. Go back into the real world for a moment. But before we do that, we're going to take a little bit of break. We'll entertain you for a little bit longer, and then we're out of here. Alrighty. See you in a sec.
Bye.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Uh, let's see. So, this is the after show. If you've never been here before, the after show is something that happens after we've recorded the podcast. What we were just at was the actual podcast that gets edited, chopped up, cleaned up, make us sound smarter than we are, and then put on the Spotify. At least make me sound smarter than I am. So, legitimately, I don't have to cut out too much between Carly. No, because you actually come across as like competent and very erudite
What do you
and eloquent.
redeem? I try to emulate you. You try to emulate me. It's really great. All right. Welcome to the after show. Today we're talking about this holiday season of 2021. Can be summarized by three letters, I think. WTF.
WTF indeed.
Yeah.
I think there's been so much that has gone on this year. In fact, we are moving because we're now in the quote unquote oh no section of this year. I think it's the perfect time to just do this live. Why not?
Yeah.
I have for you a COVID self-test.
Woo! This is entertainment.
I'm actually going to change our stream information to be doing a self test, not revealing results.
But that's my no. We will support you regardless of your status, Rajiv. Regardless.
I think it's important to just not feel like whether I am or am not positive. It's like not gonna be the thing.
Sure.
Anyway,
normalizing testing. This is like really important.
Correct. So
the unboxing. Oh,
the unboxing.
we're making it unboxing.
Oh wait, I can't show this front, but basically there's a thing that you need to scan.
Yo.
There is a dropper thing. There is a test tube thingy, and the thing you poke in your nose.
Woo! Okay, you gotta do.
And then the box, actually, which is legitimately a part of it because it has a test tube holder. This specific brand has a fancy app that goes along with this. And so I will open it now. I did one of these already because it's just a good idea to be testing yourself regardless of how you're feeling, just in case. But, you know, here we are.
PSA.
PSA.
Yeah, this is very important stuff. Rajiv, where did you get this kit?
This kit I got off of Amazon. They do have a limit that you should only buy 4. This one happens to come with 2 in one box.
Nice.
Many of them are coming in with 2 in the box. Couple notes. If you are in Chicago, definitely check out Rush Hospital. Or if you're wherever you are, just check out to see if there are other local hospitals that might send you one for free.
Yes.
Or at some greatly reduced cost. If you can find them in drugstores, try to find the cheapest one and just use that. Do note that in next year, at some point, don't know, go check out the actual latest news for legitimate information. Not just 2 people who are doing this for funsies. Yes.
We are
doing this.
Oh, if you knew that, we are.
Definitely not. This is not medical advice. But gonna start a new test.
Yes. Welcome, Rahiv.
They have like fancy videos and everything like that for every single step of the way, and they tell you how to do it. So I need to go ahead and scan the card that's here. It has identified it.
Great. So helpful.
Sure, if it's helpful for somebody, like, cool.
It's
So
saving lives right now. I hope you know.
am I?
Like preferably your own, I think. But...
Sure, yes.
Very
I am getting tested. I am testing myself. I am not of Hispanic origin. I have a race. I need to scan it again to just show that the lighting is good. lighting check passed.
Yes. The COVID game.
Okay, you need to wash your hands, which I have already. You need to open these things eventually. So I will talk you through what I am hearing.
I'll be your guide today to make sure you get the most accurate result possible. The following instructions will work for a single or multi-pack test. First things first, this is a pain-free test. You may have seen tests that have swabs traveling far into your nose. That will not happen in this test.
This is true.
So please don't be scared by the length of the swab. If you have frequent or difficult to control nosebleeds, do not use this product. Contact your healthcare provider to arrange testing. This test takes approximately 20 minutes to complete, so if you don't have 20 minutes, please come back into the app when you do. Great, let's go. Follow the step-by-step video instructions and do not proceed without performing each task. Skipping ahead without performing the task could lead to an inaccurate result. First, let's start by finding a well-lit working surface, perhaps a desk area.
Really
To
like her
perform the
voice.
test, take one of the
All right. Well, I mean, I've done this before, so I'm kind of
Rajiv knows
skipping
what to
ahead.
do. Yeah, you can see the Rajiv version of it.
Open the silver-colored foil pouch and remove the tube. Now tap the tube on a hard surface.
Ooh,
Remove and discard the yellow cap. Being careful not to spill the liquid, place the tube in the tube holder.
Don't spill the liquid.
Please hold.
Right.
You do not want to spill the liquid. This is critical. All right.
Critical
Here's the
math.
test. Here's the thing. Rip it open.
Ah.
There is some liquid. Here's the thing. You tap it to get rid of the bubbles.
Rid of the bubbles.
Yep. And so you can see no bubbles.
No bubbles. Very clear.
And now I'm putting it here into this box.
Okay.
We are not an unboxing channel, in case you haven't seen, in case you can't tell. So I do not have another camera.
I love like during the unboxing, they're like, yeah, this like seems like love the packaging, seems very legitimate. Very
It legitimately is very good packaging because there's like 3 very clear things that you need to open one after the other.
yeah, the app instructions.
Open the
Very
swab
clear.
and hold it in your hand. Be careful not to touch the swab tip.
That's it. And they make you watch the video before you can actually do it and move forward. And so you have this really easy open thing. The nice thing is, at least in this kit, that the stick comes out first, so you don't even accidentally grab it.
Good, smart.
Like they said before, don't be afraid.
Your brain. I thought you were gonna shove it up to your brain.
I will teach you how to properly swab your nose. Children aged 2 to 13 years old should always be tested by an adult 18 years or older. You may feel some itchiness or the need to sneeze, but this is a pain-free test. If you feel pain or your nose starts to bleed, remove the swab immediately and contact a medical professional. If you have frequent or difficult to control nosebleeds, do not use this product. Contact your healthcare provider to arrange testing. Hold the swab at the midpoint. Please ignore any lines or markings that may be on your swab, as they are not related to this test. Slowly and gently insert the swab until the swab head is no longer visible and you meet resistance. Again, this should not cause any pain.
Excuse
Circle the
me.
swab around the inside of your nostril 5 times so that the swab is making contact with the inner walls of your nose. 1, 2, 3, 5. Remove and repeat in the other nostril. 1, 2, 3, 5. You can now remove the swab from your nose and move on to the next step.
Wow. Oh wow, 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 wow.
Remove the tube from the tube holder. Slowly and gently plunge the swab up and down in the fluid for a minimum of 15 seconds.
Plunge it. Plunge.
Okay.
This
So,
is fascinating. I love this.
have you never seen this or done this?
Leave the swab in the tube. Move on to the next step.
Okay. So you dip it in here.
Oh yeah. Ooh, it's
3,
killing it.
4,
Keep going.
5,
It's like
6, 7,
Sure.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
Yep.
14,
Stay tuned to find
15. Okay. Let's see if I can increase the volume even further. Nope. Okay.
Remove the
loud.
swab while squeezing the sides of the soft tube to extract the extra liquid from the swab. You can now discard the swab.
Eye swab.
The key is you want to like keep the liquid in there. And you want to get the liquid out of the swab itself. So you're basically squeezing the swab out
Fun.
so that the liquid just kind of stays in underneath there. Because you need at least 3 drops moving forward.
So this is like a
Okay.
Wow,
It
just
really is.
eye swab.
I am. Don't worry.
Nice.
Here's the discarding of said swab. And all right, there you go.
Be aware that the tip and that the liquid. Try to avoid touching the tip. Press the attached tip firmly onto the tube until
the
you
tip.
hear or feel a snap. Some force may be needed. Mix the sample by flicking the bottom of the tube a few times. Now place the tube back into the tube holder. Continue on to the next step as soon as possible. You must begin the next step within 25 minutes.
Okay.
Oh god, we only have 25 minutes to do this step. Oh, phew.
Like so lowly of us Americans.
I mean, it's truly for like, if you have mobility issues, for everybody, it's just to make sure that you have everything all set. Again, this is like get rid of the bubbles. And so now you're ready. I am putting this back into the box.
Fancy box.
In a few minutes, we're just going to have to wait for a while, and then we'll actually talk about the stuff that we wanted to talk about.
Okay, perfect. So we're gonna kill the time.
Right.
Are we done for now?
Remove the test stick from the skinny pouch and place it on the scan card so that it matches the triangle and the outline in the black area. Move on to the next step as soon as possible. You must begin the next step within 5 minutes of opening the pouch.
Got it.
So I'm going to just play the next step so I can just do it all together.
Okay, perfect.
Stabilize your hand by holding your wrist. Using the dropper already built into the cap, squeeze 3 drops of liquid from the plastic tube into the smaller square hole marked with 3 drops. The tube can now be discarded.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm going to open this.
The unboxing.
The unboxing continues. This is the last thing to unbox.
It's a really important PSA.
Here you go. It's basically a pregnancy test.
If Rajiv's nose is pregnant.
God, I hope not.
You know, may your test be negative and your mindset.
So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put 3 drops in those places.
So,
1,
great.
2, 3.
Wait.
You're almost done with the test. After the timer on this screen reaches 0, the app will automatically take you to the scanning screen. Your test relies on the camera on your phone to interpret your result. To get an accurate result, it is critical for you to follow the instructions in this video. Let's prepare you for a great scan. Number 1, make sure your phone isn't on silent so you can hear the time.
Basically, it just goes on to say, like, here's how to take a good scan. And I'm trying not to tip this over, so I'm going to take you on a little journey.
Please do.
But basically, this is what it looks like. And so you can see it's already starting to turn colors. That means that it's already starting to do what it needs to.
So how long do we have to wait now?
15 minutes.
Okay.
So there's a timer.
Oh, nice. The app is fancy.
The app is super fancy. All of them have like an app like this.
I love it. Her voice, very calming. She told me not to be afraid. Not afraid. I'm not afraid.
This is what she looks like. It kind of looks like AOC in a sense.
it. Like your test is developing
Yep.
into a full grown.
A full-grown negative. That's what it's turning into.
Okay, so this is us recruiting negative vibes for Rajiv. Please send him all the negative vibes. Send him all the good vibes. I don't even want to say the P word. Send Rajiv is doing a PSA service for the world right now that getting COVID tested at home is important, not scary, easy, and fun if you're with the right people.
If you are with the right people, it can be fun.
Fun Rajiv's ever had taking.
Considering this is my 4th one ever, so like, sure, yeah.
Killing it.
Han says, here for the unboxing. Quality tutorial. Thanks very much, Han.
10.
10 out of 10. Maybe negative, so let's see.
Yes, may it be. So yeah, in the meantime, let's chat about how it was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well,
Oh, sorry, yeah, how was yours?
oh no, I was gonna say yours was clearly potentially compromising.
Maybe or maybe not. I don't know. We shall find out. But in any case, you should be just testing regularly, whether you were feeling something or not. And in any case, I needed to test again because I tested myself a couple of days ago, and they suggest doing 2 in a row, which is why many of these kits come with 2. And I think it's the right option, is to just test yourself again.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I agree. I saw your post that you posted on Instagram. Very informative. Keeping the masses up to date on all CDC information. I love that. You know, the kits come with 2, so that makes sense.
Some of them do. Some of them don't.
How your holiday season?
Holiday season was nice. It was, I think the first year, I think compared to last year, was the first year that people kind of felt that positivity a little bit, even though we were slowly descending into the oh no phase of everything.
Yes.
You know, you can only do so much during a pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's so crazy how different the vibe was, even just going from Thanksgiving until now.
Yep.
That wasn't even that long of time, it seems like. Yeah, and just like the pressure, right? So because we weren't really able to see people last year because we weren't supposed to or shouldn't have or whatever, or it was advised against it, especially because there was no vaccine. This year was kind of like, okay, we didn't see it last year. Like, we can't make it 2 years in a row. So there's like all this like pressure of like, we got to see everyone, you know, do this, do that, make up for this, go to this event. And it's like, just felt like a lot of pressure.
Absolutely. Han says, totally agree, Carly. The vibe changed so quickly. And absolutely. This is where, like, that's exactly when I was in New York. People were, like, so positive. Everybody was out. Like, when I went to go see Hadestown in like, the theater, like, it was packed. Everybody was next to each other. Everybody was wearing masks. Everybody had to show proof of vaccination. So that's, like, the best that they could do to keep people safe.
Yeah.
But, you know, since then, it's, like, very quickly just transitioned into just, you know, a little bit around, like, what it was earlier this year.
Yeah.
Again.
Or yeah, this time last year, just things escalated a lot because especially in the colder areas, like everybody has to be inside. You don't have the options to go on like outdoor walks or socially distance appropriately necessarily. And people are just like risk averse. I feel like they're like, well, I'm willing to take the risk. I even the people that were like did everything by the book, stayed inside, did this, did that. They're even like, okay, like I'm doing everything I can, and still the world is going to a place that I can't control. So I'm like, if I'm damned if I do, maybe I'm damned if I don't, continue to be super strict. So it's hard, we have never all been really on a unified page, and we continue to become even more divided now that like options of like being boosted now and different levels of comfort and things like that. So we're all just at least like when it first started it was like, are we being protective or are we not? And now it's like, now there's just so many different layers and levels to this question. Complex.
It is absolutely super complex. I mean, ignoring kind of the situation though, at least it was nice to just be able to see people and be around people even though it was just my family and that's about it. And like, my family's here in Chicago, so it was really easy to just go there and then come back without really seeing or meeting anybody. Um, it was it was a good experience, and I hope that yours was with your family as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it just goes to show like how important community and connection is, at this time of the year and just any time of
Hmm.
can't survive without each other. We need each other, and no matter how much we think we don't, or I know it can be difficult at times to like respond to text messages or reaching out and like doing Zooms like this and stuff like that, but it is important and it does help your mental. So I know it can kind of be that like negative spiral of like, I don't feel like responding. I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to see anyone. But then it's like, if you do start to do that stuff, like that's the stuff that will actually help out of that.
Absolutely.
Talking to other people and just knowing that like you're not alone. Like we're all going through this. I think that's the other part too, is that like we're all still on the like a level playing field of like nobody is not going through this and has not been impacted by this. So anybody that you meet, whether they're new, old, you've known them from before or not, like this is always like a topic that you can go to. And
Hmm. Well, what are your plans for New Year's then?
yeah, well, tentative, of course, as most plans must be these days.
Unfortunately, yes.
We are potentially going to check out the Sober Tea Bar in Andersonville, which is very exciting. I feel so seen and heard by this space, and I can't wait to go there. Like I would have, if and any other time, I would have been like the first person in line, but because of just the circumstances, it's been difficult. I saw that they like had a premiere night with drag bingo, and it was like sold out, which was amazing. So just how we found out that sober queer spaces were like just so wanted and needed here in Chicago, like same with them, like realizing like how much a sober space is just needed, right? There's so many bars. There's a million bars. You can't even like throw a rock in Chicago without hitting a bar, without throwing a rock through a window of a bar. Um, that. Yeah, like what I wish and I hope to see more sober bars popping up now and to do the future. There's also this event going on the day after New Year's this year in Chicago. There is like it's like a dry bar pop-up. So they're serving like alcohol-free wine, alcohol-free cocktails, things like
Cool.
that. So I think that's happening somewhere on the South Loop. So that I will be checking that out as well, pending fine. It's difficult, right? It's that fine line between like wanting to do things, not wanting to be alone, but also, the very real fear of interacting with people, being in spaces that are unfamiliar with, not knowing how. I think you know, no matter what you decide to do, like taking precautions and just doing whatever you feel. What about you? Give
Current tentative plans.
Hang on to what occurred.
Depending on the result of this test, I suppose. Would be also to just like be at home. I don't want to go anywhere. Things are also super expensive at places. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And just trying to like keep everything pretty chill at home. Same sort of thing. Like there's places where I feel like I could be seen or I could actually just go to, but I think this year is just one of those years where the vibe, as like Han, you're also mentioning, Carly, you were mentioning earlier, it's just different. And I think this year just is one of those years where it feels like you should just be at home and with like very few people, especially in the evening, like for New Year's itself, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, New Year's is like a notorious going out drinking night for those of us that are sober, but just reinventing new memories, doing fun. Like, there's so many fun things that you can do at home by yourself
Hmm.
that like don't involve drinking, and just like making it like any other night and not making it a big to do,
Yep.
making it special in your own.
And really, like we do this podcast pretty virtually, like except for last time where Carly was in person. This is just one of those things that you can also do. Like we're able to do it just in the comfort of our own homes. And thank you to the internet, because without it,
Well,
like,
it's also amazing like how like different my mindset is about
mm,
like, okay, it's like, okay, we just need to stay inside again. I got this. Like, let me pull out the few things that I like put away. But like, different mindset of like, okay, I can do this. I can be at home. We hunker down. I can hunker down again. So just like my attitude towards it is like less afraid and more just like, all right, buckle up. Like, we're doing this again. Like, it's more just like out of like sheer, just like absurdity at this point. You're just like, okay, this is what 2021 is going to hand us. Okay. All right. Well, let's keep
Come
going.
at,
Yeah.
come at me, bro.
No, like we're like haggard and like just like torn to shreds, but ready for anything now. Uh, there was this meme. It was John Travolta and so from Greece where they're driving in the car, him and Sandy, where she's just like wearing her little like ponytail, like looking super innocent, and it was like us going into 2020, and then it was like us going into 2022, and then it was John Travolta driving the car from Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yes, I've seen that.
Yeah. Oh my god. I was like, this is so relatable. Like, look at us. We were just like ready for anything. We've just beat to like crap, and we were just still getting up and ready to like kick ass and take names.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, there are 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
Ooh.
Are you somebody who is a person that does New Year's resolutions?
Ooh. I definitely am. Like, if I check on my phone notes, there will be very funny ones from like years past. I would always just like make a list, and I would just put like aspirational things. You want me to
Please share.
look up my? Let me look it up. Let me pull up my notes app. Let me pull up resolutions. Um.
I've had like very large, like multi-year spanning goals, which are very broad. So nothing specific to like a New Year's resolution type of thing. But while you're pulling that up, but
Okay, I like that. Or like, I like how some people do like a mantra word for the year.
oh sure, yeah.
It was going to be focused on like this value word. Um, I did pick a value word, but now I forgot what it was. That's probably not helpful. I wrote
There, there is in Sanskrit how do I describe what Sanskrit is? An ancient language from India, I guess. uh, which is used a lot in like yoga situations and things like that come from India. There's this word called sankalpa, which means an intention. And so when you actually talk about what your next year is going to be, you could just set an intention. And in a way, that's kind of the same sort of thing where a mantra, at least the way that I understand the word mantra, is something that you repeat in order to like free your mind of something. And in this case, like a sankalpa or an intention is something that you just set. And it's something that you constantly are just looking towards, just are looking to try to fulfill.
yeah, are you like return back to? I like that. I guess I set some 2020 New Year's resolutions last year. I just have 3 things written here, and it says stop playing small.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the first one. And it said less screen time. LOL.
Was that for 2021?
Yeah, I saw this meme. It was like, if I stop looking at my screen and think about everything that's gone on in the past 2 years, I will have a mental breakdown. And that said, if I look at my screen time, I will also have a mental breakdown. So just constantly living between those 2 stages. So yeah, those were last year's. Let's see what else. I had some from it's ready.
Almost.
Okay.
I have to do it immediately. So I'm going to scan now.
Okay. Oh my god, do it immediately. Are you gonna see the results?
They are. Hold on. I have to move this so there's no shadows.
You know, she did talk a lot about how to scan your thing appropriately. Didn't really listen. You're like, yeah, I've scanned a check or something before. I could do this.
Oh, it's processing. Oh, okay.
And then we like we'll cut off the stream right as Rajiv finds out the result.
Perfectly timed scream.
My resolutions for this year, I think, are to be more consistent about going to bed at a good time. I think just being more intentional overall. I do a lot of doom scrolling, I would say, even till this day, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. Like, here's the thing, like whatever is working that's keeping you sane and happy and healthy, like keep doing those things. We don't need to like rewrite our whole life just because it's a new day and that's new year. Like, especially right now, I think we just need to be really kind to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe being more kind to myself, not being so hard on myself, not being upset if I'm not as productive as I want to be, you know. The fact that you have a body that's like getting you through a pandemic alive, like, is enough. Like, you are doing it. I think I'm just saying that more to me than, yeah, that's my thoughts for this year, my resolution.
I need to move because my phone is creating shadows, and unfortunately, the
Okay.
lighting up here is not helping.
Let's okay, you can move. Go ahead.
Okay.
We can end the stream, whatever is easiest.
Oh wait, this might work. Uh,
This is very like Instagram versus reality. Like, everybody was like posting those pictures, or I saw some people put their like negative COVID test like as an ornament on their tree this year. Or people were like posting their negative ones, or people were posting pictures of even their positive ones, and people were like screenshotting them and being like, I'm using this to get out of my plans for this holiday season. Like, oh God. We need to lie to our family and say we have COVID. We might have bigger problems than.
yeah, seriously.
So yeah, those are my New Year's resolutions this year. And if you're not into New Year's resolutions, that's cool too. I know a lot of people like to do dry January because there's not like a lot of events that go on in January. Um, so I commend you if you want to do that. There's never bad time to start working on yourself or doing something. Like, if your mind is constantly thinking about, hey, I should maybe try that thing, like, pay attention to the places that your mind goes, actually try to push yourself or try to try something new. You're capable of so much more than you even know. And I think a lot of us have learned that through the pandemic.
Please hold.
See, we can end the stream.
I think we might need to, but ordinarily you'd be able to quickly scan it, but I have a minute and 30 to do so. So I will see you all later. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you all have a wonderful new year. Again, may your vibes be positive and your tests be negative.
Yes. Bye, everyone. Take care of yourselves. See you in 2022.
Bye.